Let's try this again. I'm having computer issues this morning. It could be because I haven't had enough coffee yet, but we shall see. We'll wait just a minute, give everybody a chance to join us who's able to this early in the morning. Good morning, Linda. How are you? Tammy. Excuse me, I have the sniffles this morning. Hey, Candace, how are you? Here y'all come. Everybody's waking up. I am dragging this morning. We stayed up entirely too late last night watching the Dallas Cowboys game. And I'm glad I stayed up to watch it because it was an unbelievably crazy game, but it sure did make getting up early to go to work a little bit more challenging this morning. Teresa, I'm glad you have coffee. I'm desperately in need of it. I'm going to be drinking probably more than one of these today. I had a death in my family late last week on actually Friday morning. My sister-in-law, who I think she was 80, had Alzheimer's, and so she passed away Friday. So we're having the viewing tonight and the funeral tomorrow, and so I have family coming in to stay with me, so I had to come into the office for a few hours this morning, and that's why I had to switch over to talking to you this morning instead of from home, where I normally am on Mondays. Okay, let's get going. I said that I wanted to talk to you about what freestyle is not. We've been talking for a couple of weeks now since freestyle rolled out of what it is, and all of the changes and opportunities and freedoms that freestyle brought about. But in reading some of your posts online, first of all, those of you who are posting the wonderful recipe ideas and the products that you're finding and the meal plans that you're having success with, I so appreciate you posting those, because it makes a huge difference, and it really helps people who are struggling, or it helps those who are just starting out and are looking for suggestions. So please keep those coming. I will tell you that we have, and you already know, but we have many people in our Facebook group who are doing older versions of Weight Watchers, and we welcome that. We're here to support you, whichever version of Weight Watchers you are on. However, most of us are doing the current version. So when you see someone who is on an older version of Weight Watchers, when you see them post a meal or a recipe and they don't share the points value, it's possibly because they're doing a different plan, and so their points are different than most of us. So instead of maybe getting a little peeved if you ask them for the points and they don't share that with you, that could be the reason. Okay, let's talk about what freestyle is not. Freestyle is not a diet. It is not a what we are used to. Most of us have been dieting, for years, and diets are very limiting and very dictating, and also not very forgiving. And we've all done those diets, and we came to Weight Watchers because diets don't work, and because we didn't like those restrictions and limitations on what we were allowed to eat. And so freestyle is not a diet, so don't let yourself buy into that diet mentality. Freestyle is not a free-for-all. Because we have such a vast list of 0-point food, does not mean that our common sense should go out the window and that we should just eat unlimited or unreasonable amounts of food. We still have to use our common sense. We still have to decide, if I was eating one egg before Freestyle for breakfast and I was content with that, that doesn't mean that I should now give myself permission to eat 3 or 4 eggs for breakfast. What we're hoping that we can all learn is to stop eating when we're satisfied. I'll tell you what I've learned with Freestyle. Before, if I had planned to eat 3 ounces of chicken for dinner and I tracked 3 ounces of chicken before I sat down to eat, I would eat the entire 3 ounces regardless of whether or not I was still hungry after half of it or 2/3 of it, because I had already tracked it. So in my mind, I had paid for it, so I was going to eat it whether I wanted it or not. Now with Freestyle, if my plan is to eat 3 ounces of chicken, but halfway through my meal, I realized that I'm now satisfied. I don't feel the need to finish eating the rest of the chicken. I'm learning to stop when my stomach says, okay, I'm good now. I'm learning to not continue eating just because the food is on my plate or just because I tracked it. So what I'm hoping, and I believe what Weight Watchers is hoping that we will all learn is, yes, your tracking is a good tool to use, but the best tool you have is how you feel. If you stop halfway through your meal because at that moment you're feeling satisfied, okay, you've stopped. Now, what happens an hour from now if you realize, okay, I'm hungry again? Well, eat something. You shouldn't go hungry. There's no rule that says you can only eat at particular times of the day or that you have to wait so many hours between your meals. That's a diet. This is not a diet. So listen to your body. Let your body tell you. And I know some of you are going to say, well, if my body knew how to tell me, I wouldn't need Weight Watchers. Well, I don't know what to tell you. I really believe that listening to your body is the key. Now, your body may not be telling you the truth today, but eventually you'll learn the signals and you'll learn to listen to what your body really is telling you. What my body says to me today is completely different than what my body said to me or what I heard my body saying when I started Weight Watchers. I think my body and I have learned to communicate a little better, and so I think yours will too. Okay, so it's not a free-for-all. Don't go ridiculous, don't go crazy, and whatever you do, don't give yourself permission to live solely from that list of 0-point food. That's just supposed to be the foundation of our meals, but there are so many foods that are really good for us and really good that have points, and there's no reason to not enjoy those. So don't do that to yourself. Tracking. Some people still track with Freestyle, and that's okay. I still track. The freedom that comes with Freestyle is you don't have to track if you don't want to those 0-point foods. Before Freestyle, our fruit, I'm going to adjust my phone a little bit over here so I can see my computer. Before Freestyle, if you didn't track your fruit and the vegetables that were free, then you don't have to track them now. But if someone chooses to track, and there are some benefits to tracking, then that's okay too. What are the benefits of tracking? Well, there are a few. One is if you get in a slump or you hit a plateau or you have a week that you gain, you can go back and look through your tracker and see, was there something that maybe I was eating that I'm seeing a pattern? If I eat this food, it's usually followed with a gain or a stall. Or maybe you need to go to your leader and say, I'm struggling. I'm seeing a little bit of a gain and I'm not really sure what to do. If he or she can look at your tracker, then they possibly can spot, something that they see as a possible culprit. So there are definitely some benefits to tracking, but the beauty that comes with Freestyle is you don't have to. That's totally up to you. Scanning 0 point food. I see a lot of this in the group, questions about it, and I'm going to try to explain it. Hopefully this will make sense. Just because Weight Watchers tells us that corn, for instance, doesn't have a point value and is now 0 points, doesn't mean that there isn't a cost associated with corn. And remember, we talked last week about checking the ingredients of the corn to make sure that it just contains corn. If it contains sugar, it has crossed over into a pointed food. But if it's just a 0 point food, it still has a cost. But when you get to the checkout register, Weight Watchers says, here's a coupon, this one's free. Does that make sense? So if you scan a can of corn on the scanner, but up here that Weight Watchers has told me this is a 0 point food, and I've checked the ingredients and there is no sugar added, it's just water and corn, then I don't have to count those points. The scanner may tell you that there's a cost, but you don't have to pay that cost out of your daily Smart Point budget. So if you know for a fact that there is nothing in the ingredients of your food that has a point value, you don't have to scan it because you have a buy this free coupon that's been given to you by Weight Watchers. I hope that helps. I hope that makes a little bit more sense, because I know it gets confusing when you think something's free and then you scan it and all of a sudden it's telling you there are points and you think, well, do I track it or do I not track it? Do I count the points? Do I not count the points? If it's a food that Weight Watchers has told you is free or is 0, you need to forget free, that's 0, you just don't have to pay that out of your daily Smart Point budget. So you don't have to scan those foods unless you just want to, but you're just kind of going to make yourself a little bit crazy by doing that. Okay, there are 13 days left in this year. I cannot believe that 2017 is almost over. I've enjoyed watching all of your progress. Some of you, the journey, I mean, we will be a year old as a group February 1st, and I've so enjoyed watching the journey that some of you are making and getting to know you. And I've struggled with some of you. I've celebrated with you. I've wanted to shake some of you from time to time, and I know you probably felt that way about me too, and that's okay. But you have 13 days left. If you're really, really, really struggling through the holidays and you think, I just can't worry about losing weight between now and January 1, it's just all I can do to get through the next few days. Here's what I want to ask you to do. Take a deep breath. Just try your best to maintain for the next 13 days. If losing weight is just too much for you, okay, just do your best to maintain. And then January 1, agree with me that you will rededicate, you'll recommit, and you'll refocus, because the holidays will be behind you, and all of the struggles and the stress that we tend to put on ourselves this time of year will be past. So you will just do your best for the next 13 days, and then you'll agree that come January 1, you're going to hit it with intense resolve to make 2018 your best year. And I commit to you that I will do everything I can in 2018 to help you reach your goal. I would love nothing more than to see you become a lifetime member of Weight Watchers in 2018. Nothing tastes as good as that moment feels when you realize you did it. All of your hard work, all of the things that you passed on, they were worth it, because now you did it. You proved to yourself, forget everybody else, you proved to yourself that you could do it, and you did it. So let's make 2018 your year. I did a video a couple weeks ago, I think it was, about willpower. So I would like for you to agree with me to put a 4-letter word in your vocabulary for the next 13 days. That 4-letter word is will. W-I-L-L. I know with my Texas accent it probably sounds like wheel, W-H-E-E-L, but it's will, W-I-L-L. Instead of saying I can, I want you to say I will. Instead of saying I should, I want you to say I will. And instead of focusing on I didn't, I want you to say I will. So if you have to, take a Post-it note and write will and stick it on your computer screen, or put it on your refrigerator, or put it somewhere where you'll, coffee pot, put it where you'll see it. And every time one of those negative words starts to make its way out of your mouth, even if it's just mentally, replace it with I will. I get overwhelmed at this time of year. I do it to myself, but it's so easy to fall into that trap of thinking I'm not going to get everything done, but I will. It's easy to think I'm not going to lose weight. Tell yourself I will. I'm not going to be able to make everybody happy. Well, it's not your job to make everybody happy. It's your job to do your best, and you will do that. Now, their behavior and their feelings, that's theirs. That's not your business. How they respond is not your business. Your business is just to do your best. So I will do my best today. I will make smart choices. I will say no to one thing. I will enjoy the journey. I will stop and take time to reflect, maybe before the end of the day, on what did I do good today. Instead of beating myself up for maybe a bad choice I made, I'm going to think about all of the good things I did today. I will find somebody in the group that needs a friend, and I'll extend a hand across the internet and reach out to them. Let's focus on what we will instead of what we can't. And instead of maybe getting upset because the scale didn't tell you the number that you wanted to see this week, okay, it is what it is. All the scale is a reflection of what your body weighed at that particular moment. I did an experiment at my Weight Watchers meeting yesterday. I weighed when I got there, and then I weighed right before the meeting started, and then I weighed immediately after the meeting was over. And you know what I discovered? 3 different weights. Not hugely different, but different. So there have been meetings I've gone to where I was up 2 ounces, and I was almost devastated. Now I realize that had I weighed 30 minutes earlier, I might have had a maintained week. Or had I weighed 15 minutes later, it might have been a loss of 0.2. So all the scale is a snapshot of that particular moment. But the truth of the week is in your head or in your tracker. It's not on the scale. Your tracker and your memory are what's going to tell you what your value of the week was. How many good choices did you make? How much did you move? How much did you say no to? That should be where we get the validation for our week, way more than that little snapshot of the scale. So don't let the scale derail you, but just focus on maintaining if that's what you have to do for the next 13 days. And then we will resolve to hit the ground running to make 2018 your year. It looks like for whatever reason, your comments are not scrolling on my screen. Let me try this again and see if I can get them to. Your body will tell you the truth. You know, that's the truth. Your body tracks way better than we track. I love that. I don't know why it's not scrolling. So again, I apologize that I can't talk to you live, but I will go back through your comments as the day goes on and as I have time, and I'll answer all of your questions. I so appreciate you. I tell you every time, but it's the truth. It's not just words. I appreciate your kindness to each other on the board, your willingness to help each other out, to say a prayer for one another, a pat on the back. You know, every now and then we get a little testy, and that's okay. You're all entitled to be testy every now and then, but let's just make those little testy moments short and get back to being kind to one another. Life is too short to not be kind. So I will answer your questions on the thread as the day goes on today. And please keep my family in your thoughts and prayers as we lay my sister-in-law to rest tomorrow. She and my brother were married 61 years, so it'll be a challenge for him, but he'll get through it. He'll be fine. And I love you all, and I will talk to you later. Bye. Have a great day.